I have to start this monologue off by correcting myself. During the offseason, I said that the LAFC, Los Angeles football team, was going to be the LA Lakers of the MLS. I said they were going to be the LA Lakers, the USC Trojans, the LA Dodgers. I basically said that they were going to be the premier Major League Soccer team out the West. I said this out of ignorance. I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't do my due research. So for that, I'm correcting myself. I wasn't aware that LA Galaxy has 5 titles. I wasn't aware that LA Galaxy had 9 appearances in the MLS Cup. They are the ones that has been the premier team of not only the West, but the entire league. They have been the face of American soccer. When it comes to football club, LA Galaxy has been the face of American soccer. They are the premier football club of American soccer. The Galaxy is not the one that's trying to catch up with LAFC. LAFC is the team that's trying to catch up with the Galaxy, which shows why they were making so much big time moves this offseason, so much trades, giving up so much money for high level players, because they are the ones that have to catch up. And the good thing about this is MLS doesn't have to be a league where one Los Angeles team is good and the other Los Angeles team is bad. The MLS can be a league where both LA teams are good. Because in my personal opinion, what is the point of a city having 2 teams when only one is good and the other one is bad? If that's the case, you should just have one team. I never understood why NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball and the other major sports leagues were like that. I just believe that it's a waste of money if you're gonna have 2 teams in one city but only one team is good. If you're gonna have 2 teams, both teams need to be relevant. If not, the team that is not relevant just need to go to another city that will invest more in it. Both LA teams, after the first 2 weeks of this season, both LA teams it looks like they're on a collision course for not only Western supremacy, but Major League Soccer supremacy. But I'm just gonna focus on the West for this topic, because the West is tough. Not only do you have the number 1 seed in Colorado that reminded us in week 2 that they're still a premier team out West by how they just dominated Atlanta, but you still have Portland. Portland was a team that went to Commerce City, Colorado, and upset Colorado late in the season on Thanksgiving Day during the playoffs. You also got a Seattle team that's competitive. You got Minnesota United. They're competitive. You got Salt Lake City. You have Real Salt Lake, a team that surprised all of us on decision day last season by how they beat Kansas City. Was the game controversial? Yes. Was it a handball? Yes. But the referees missed the call, so they were still able to get in. And besides that one handball, Real Salt Lake, they are competitive. They're very competitive. You also have Nashville. Nashville was in the Eastern Conference last year. But the thing I like about Nashville can score. Nashville plays hard. Every game they're trying to win. Nashville do not believe in ties. Nashville do not play to tie the game. Nashville plays to win the game. And now they're also in the West. So the Western Conference is a gauntlet. The Western Conference is going to be tough. And the interest in watching the Western Conference compete is the fact that both LA teams are relevant. Because if you want the nation, if you want Americans in general to really pay attention to MLS out west, at least one LA team has to be relevant. But the fact that both LA teams look like they're going to be relevant, that's going to make it even more interesting. And that's how it should be. I don't want to watch an MLS where one Los Angeles team is good and the other Los Angeles team is bad. That's boring. I don't want it to be like college football where USC is always good and UCLA is bad. I don't want it to be like the NBA where the LA Lakers are the stars. They're the face of the Western Conference and the LA Clippers are supposedly the little brother. In Major League Soccer, I don't want to see any big brother or little brother when it comes to these Los Angeles teams. I want both the Galaxy and LAFC to be just as good as each other. I want both of them to be very competitive in the West and to be viewed as true contenders, because that's what's going to make the game and the sport more interesting. That's what's going to make the rivalry more compelling to watch.
Do you want to be like? Do you picture me like? What will I be when I grow up?